Exelare has a very tight integration between itself and Outlook. When you install Exelare, you're also going to get a handy little plugin called the XBAR that lives inside of Outlook that enables all of your communications to and from contacts and candidates to be centrally located not only underneath the candidate or contact record in Exelare, but also in Outlook itself. Let's switch over to Outlook. You'll notice inside of Outlook I have the XBAR installed underneath the add-ins. Anything I do using this XBAR will automatically, again, link to the appropriate contact or candidate inside of Exelare. It also helps you in your day-to-day communications to remind you to keep things centralized. So if I get an email like this from Bob Johnson who needs help with a new CTO level search, when I hit reply, Exelare is going to warn me and tell me that Bob Johnson does not exist in the database. Do I want to add them to Exelare? So I can say yes, go ahead and add Bob Johnson as a contact. So now the software's automatically created a record for Bob Johnson in the contacts, and now I can reply to Bob and say, yes, I will call you today, and hit send. So now that email's been sent to Bob. His name's been created in the database. If I switch over to Exelare and pull up Bob Johnson, just type in the universal search here, Bob Johnson's going to come up. And you notice that when I click on the History tab, you're going to see that email that I just sent. There's the sent mail I sent to Bob today, saying, yes, I will call you today. So now in the future, when I go to reply to Bob, let's just go ahead and reply again. And this time we'll say, heading to your office in the morning, and hit send. I'm doing it from Outlook, so I'm going to see it in my Sent Items folder. But then again, when I switch back over to Exelare and refresh the history, we'll see that second email that I sent to him as well. So in that way, it ensures everything you're doing inside of Outlook is centralized inside of the Exelare database. Now, taking things a step further, as recruiters, we receive emails all the time like this. Daniel Gilbert has sent me his resume, letting me know that he wants to talk about any opportunities that match his background. So instead of copying and pasting or downloading and uploading resumes, all we're going to do is click on the email and then click up here and say Add to Candidates. This is going to parse the information from the attachment you saw in his email. So it's taken all the information like his name and company and job title and things like that. When we click Next, it's going to tell us if there's a duplicate in the system. So Daniel Gilbert does not exist in the system already. But had he already existed, we'd be able to check these boxes to update his profile as opposed to creating a duplicate candidate. When I click Next, this will also give me the opportunity to add him to the shortlist or the potential list for the jobs we're working on. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a job and say that Daniel Gilbert looks like a good fit for this project manager position that we're working on right now. And then I can click Finish. So now we've parsed that candidate into the database one at a time. Now, if you get multiple resumes in your inbox every day, you can highlight all of them. I could just hit Control A if there were 10, 20, 30 resumes and do the same thing. Just say Add to Candidates. And it will add all 2 or 20 or 200 or 2,000 candidates or more. There's really no limits from your inbox. So if you first start using Exelare and you have a folder full of resumes like I do and most recruiters do, just point it to that folder and import them all in just a few clicks. There's a lot of other things that you can do from Outlook. For example, any email you receive, you can link attachments to any record in the database. Say I'd received an email from a candidate that had a background check document or a cover letter or multiple different reference checks or things like that. I could click on this button, link attachments to sender, or I could link it to a client or a candidate or a job at the same time. This would take all of the attachments in that email and then link it to that candidate or job or contact I wanted to link it to, as opposed to having to download all those documents and then re-upload them and attach them to a specific record in the system. There's a lot of other things that you could do inside of emails as well. Things like grabbing contact information from the body of an email. So let's say I had received an email like this with some information maybe in the signature. I could right-click and simply copy that information and then click this button here, Grab It. I'm going to go ahead and pull it in as a client this time. So now instead of parsing from the attachment, it's parsing from the clipboard text that I created. and it'll allow you to do the same thing, check for the duplicates, and go ahead and create that as a contact inside of your database. All right. A lot of other things you can do inside of Outlook in importing a resume folder. So say you have a folder full of resumes sitting on your desktop or your network somewhere. I just clicked on Import Resume Folder. I could find that folder. Let's just pretend it's my Downloads folder here today and click OK. The software again is going to ask, are you sure you want to process all 134 resumes or all 1,000 resumes or 10,000 resumes? Again, there's no limit. So again, as you're sourcing day to day, you can download resumes into file folders on your computer and then import those resumes in bulk to create candidate profiles inside of your database. You can also submit candidates directly from the software. Say you'd received an email from a candidate or from a hiring manager asking for a candidate's resume ASAP. You can always just click on the Submit button. It's going to pull up a list of your active candidates. You can choose one of those candidates and click OK. It's going to automatically grab that resume, put it into the body of the email, and then you can reply to that and hit send, and it'll track it as a submission inside of the software to that contact. So again, anything you do using the XBAR, all the normal email stuff, parsing resumes, parsing jobs, one at a time or in bulk, is very easy from the Outlook plugin. And all that history is going to show up here in Outlook and also under the appropriate candidates inside of Exelare.